Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Welcome to What's on Tap podcast. I'm your host, Stefan.
I am your host, Martin.
And we got some beers today.
And Stefan has just taught me some vocalization tricks.
Right, so yeah.
Me.
Well, me, I don't know. It's just a thing we saw on movies and stuff. But when I was in theater, we did many years ago, there were these linguistic exercises you do to kind of stretch your mouth and limber your tongue.
Yeah, I can imagine you needed to stretch your mouth.
I did. A lot. I didn't get those parts easy. But you have to kind of relax your jaw and your tongue. So one of the things they say is to say toy boat like 3 times in a row. And the first thing, that's not that hard. So the first time you say it, it's okay. And then really, literally by the second time you say it, you've already messed it up. And then the third time, it's just like, it doesn't work. So
we will not be doing that now.
Yeah, so over the years, I've really focused on trying. I can do it pretty good every time now, but it takes some focus.
Yes.
All right. And so each brought a beer today. One, and they're both foreign. One from the U.S. and one from France. And so what did you bring?
I brought a beer that was from American brewer Hill Farmstead.
Yes.
And it's a special edition one that was made for the Mikkeller Beer Club when that still existed.
Years and years ago.
So this one is bottled March 19th, 2019. It's very old.
So how long ago did the Mikkeller Beer Club end? Like 3 years ago?
2 or 3, maybe.
2 or 3, yeah.
1. No.
Time doesn't mean
it can't be 1.
It was more than 1. It was 1 year, at least 2 years, I would say.
So the beer is Hill Farmstead Anna, which is a farmstead ale brewed with honey. But this one is specially dry hopped with Motueka, and they've made this version 3 times, and this is the first time they made it.
Oh, okay.
So on tap, you need to be very specific because
which one you pick?
They're identified by the dates.
Well, I'm super excited about this. We don't have a lot of farmhouse or saison style beers on the show because they just don't come around that much anymore.
The good ones don't. There are a lot of saisons on the market, but many of them are just quite bad, with a lot of residual sugars and not that funky.
Yeah,
many don't have Brett.
Brett is kind of a thing that you don't see a lot of like you used to. It used to be Brett beers were all over the place. That was quite the rage for about 3 years, and now it has gone the way of the dodo, as they say. You just don't see it hardly anywhere, which is a shame because I really liked Brett in a lot of beers, especially the Wilde ales and even in some of the IPAs. It was quite nice.
It doesn't say if this Hill Farmstead Anna Motueka has Brett, but who knows? It actually expired earlier this year. It only had a 5-year expiration date.
Oh no.
So it's probably literally poison now.
It is probably going to kill us both. So this is the last time you hear from us. You'll know what happened.
Yes.
Okay.
But when you opened it, it said poof with a loud bang.
It had a lot of carbonation still around the top. There's a nice kind of lacing ring from the foam. So this is still a very, very lively beer.
Yeah, and it's quite easy to agitate up a nice foam. So I'm impressed.
But Hill Farmstead has always made really great saison and wild ales and stuff. So I'm not expecting anything less here.
On the nose, it actually gives me lambic notes.
Yeah.
The dry hopping from Motueka, now 5 years later, that's probably faded quite a bit. But let's try it.
Right,
cheers.
Cheers. That is tart. You get some green apple
and lemon.
And lemon, a lot of lemon. A little bit of honey, but not a lot. I don't know what the Motueka is really doing here. I think you're right with that.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of faded away, but I think there is a bit of a additional flavor that you don't normally get, which is probably coming off of the Motueka, I would say. It's not a pronounced flavor, but there is a little extra something there that I don't think is there normally, which is quite nice.
It's difficult to tell. It's been a while since I had regular Hill Farmstead Anna.
Yeah, me too.
I think last year they came out with some Hill Farmstead at Systembolaget. Some importer had gotten a hold of them.
Yeah, there are two different ones. I have them both somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, you still have them?
Yeah, I have.
They were quite expensive, right?
They weren't too expensive. They weren't more expensive than the 3F bottles that we've been getting recently.
Fair enough.
But what I like about this is the carbonation on this.
Yeah.
Is insane.
It's really
It
good.
is so light and just super present. So it just gives a lot of residual flavor on the palate. Really, really like this one. This is a solid beer. Well, what would you give this?
I'm easily on a 4, maybe a 4.25. I didn't know what to expect. In the very background, what you say, honey, there's a sweetness that didn't need to be there. It could have just been farmhouse and acidity. So maybe that's what makes it stick with a lower 4.25.
See, I think that works for me. I think that kind of elevates it a little bit. So I'm actually going to give this a 4.5. I really like this.
I'm really happy I pulled out of
I know, I am too. In fact, I'm going to drink the rest of this and yours as well.
Mine as well. No, the reason this bottle stayed in my possession is because we were more in our little group that subscribed to the Mikkeller Beer Club. So we had more than one bottle. I think some of our friends already drank it. Then it's not as fun to pull out to a bigger tasting.
Yeah,
or half of the people say, "Oh, that's nice, we love it."
And it's also not that big of a bottle. It's 375, so
Yes.
it's not a huge bottle. So it's nicer to share with two.
Yeah, and on the back it has the little Mikkeller Beer Club logo on it. So that's nice. I remember when I started subscribing to the Mikkeller Beer Club, they had some kind of future promise that we promise that within a few years we will give you a unique Hill Farmstead beer and a unique Bocke beer and something else. The Bocke beer never happened.
Nope.
Everyone kept asking every year, like, what's happened to the Bocke beer? And then at the end, I think they said, oh, we made the collab between Baghaven and Bocke, the Sensei, and then we kept that for ourselves and didn't send it in the beer club box. So
Yeah.
you can make all the collabs you want, but if you promise to include it in a beer subscription, you can't just keep all the bottles.
Right. That's kind of a bullshit thing. And I think these beer clubs at the time, they started out with the best of intentions.
Yeah.
And if you got in early, that first year was usually pretty good. And then the quality starts to slip.
Yeah.
And then they can't get enough new beers, or they can't get enough guest beers, or they can't get enough things in there. I think this becomes more of a logistical nightmare to try to keep it going, keep it interesting.
Yep.
So I think a lot of them, I don't know if Tool still does theirs.
I don't know.
So Mikkeller stopped theirs. Trick Beer, do they still have their?
Don't know.
I think
they do.
I think Kiosk still has theirs, but that one makes a lot of sense because they can just always cobble together a box of whatever's coming in that month. So yeah, there's and Morslutel still has theirs.
Yes.
But yeah, so there aren't a lot of them. There aren't as many as there used to be. Quite frankly, I don't know that they're really worth it in the long run.
No. It's also been, I mean, web shops and even Systembolaget have gotten better. So we do have access to a lot of beer. So we're not beholden to some company like, oh, now we have you get it.
Yeah. Although
it was more needed in the past.
I don't know what they did with Hansa recently when they remodeled the inside. They redid the beer section. They've taken away a lot of stuff. It's not nearly as good as it used to be. I just over the past month when I go in there, I can't find a lot of stuff that came out that week, and there's
interesting.
Yeah, a lot of the new and new assortment stuff that comes out on the first Monday of the month they don't have, and I don't know. It seems like they've down prioritized beer there.
It is supposed to be one of the best assortments in Sweden.
I don't think they can hold that title anymore. All right, well, moving on to the next beer.
Which actually was bought at Systembolaget.
This was bought at Systembolaget. It is a Saison Brett Rhubarbe made between Le Malpolon and Wilde Leeuw.
Leeuw?
Leeuw.
Yes.
Ugh, it's too many vowels in a row. It is a cuvée collab. They have it as a beer blonde as well.
Yeah, Untapped says that it's a farmhouse ale dash saison, but Untapped also says that it's aged on Sauterne barrels.
It has it right here, actually. Yep. It's a beer blonde Saison Brett, which has Brettanomyces, and for 15 months, and it's aged in what kind of beer?
Sauterne.
Sauterne.
It's like a dessert wine.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, interesting.
It had very little head and carbonation.
Yeah, there's almost no carbonation, and there's still no carbonation here.
It smells more like fart than the Hill.
I think it smells very vinous. It smells like wine than it does actual Saison Brett. All right.
Let's try it.
I guess the sweet wine barrels are kind of the dominant smell here. All right.
Quite dry and
when you agitate it in your mouth, you do get some residual carbonation. Like it does kind of come alive. I'm missing the Brett, which really disappoints me because I was super excited about that part. Very sweet finish.
Very sweet finish.
It's dry but sweet, which is kind of interesting. I think I've never had that combination before. It's almost like raisins.
Yeah, I almost said I'm lacking the rhubarb, but now that I'm just sitting here listening to you, when I just sat and listened to you, I got more and more rhubarb just lingering. So it does have some rhubarb flavor, definitely.
I definitely get the rhubarb and the tartness coming from that. This is an interesting one. It's very drinkable. I mean, I have no problem drinking this, which I was afraid I wasn't going to like when I smelled it first. Yeah. But the aftertaste was quite nice. The overall flavor is good. I could drink the rest of this bottle. I wouldn't feel bad about it. Is this something I would go for again? Probably not. But I'm definitely glad we tried it. So I'm going to give this a 3.5.
Oh, wow. I'm going to give it a weak 4.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to increase the rating for the Farmstead to a 4.5.
Yeah, see?
So that...
and the reason I give this a 3.5 is I don't get the Brett. If you're selling me on a Brett Saison, I mean, I got to have that overwhelming or at least a semblance of that Brett flavor in here somewhere.
It doesn't need to be overwhelming for me. I'm fine with it just being a component. And I do sense the funkiness together with...
I don't. It's not there enough for me. I want it to be not overwhelming, but at least forward. I want it to announce its presence, and it's not announcing its presence. It's trying to sneak into the window around the corner. You know, it's not trying to come to the front door like Brett bitches.
I'm here.
Yeah. And for me, a good Brett beer always kind of walks in with authority, and this one is not walking in.
On the nose, it's much more farmhousey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
But they're both super tasty. I like them both quite a bit. All right.
And now we've done our part to promote Saison and Farmhouse Ale into the greater beer community.
And we won't talk about them again for the rest of the year. Probably we won't see anymore.
we might not see more. But everyone should appreciate these old styles more.
I mean, Farmhouse Saison Ales are one of my favorite styles. And I just almost buy them whenever I see them because I just want to have that experience.
Yeah.
Usually it's not great, but I always try with the hopes of finding one out there that's
exactly
going to work.
I mean, farmhouse ale is low ABV. Farmhouse ale is what the farm hands of like the 16th and 17th century were drinking to just hydrate themselves between their heavy farm work.
Right.
That's the true.
You couldn't drink the water.
No. The water would make you sick and you would be unable to work. But the 2-3% farmhouse ale would also increase your motivation to keep working, but not impede your skills.
I think you get like 2 liters a day or something.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
What a life.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Child labor was free, and
they also got low
ABV farmhouse ales or watered down wine. Okay, so we'll wrap it up here. We can get more into child exploitation in labor practices in future episodes. You can find us online at what'sontappodcast.com, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you find podcasts, you can find us. So until next time,
keep drinking, you dum-dums.